decimal system of numerals to the Persians, when in fact it was in wide use in the Vedic civilization thousands of years earlier. This is as unconscionable as it is unethical. Current covert government policy and standard operating procedures also include issuing visas to Indian spiritual teachers on a preferential basis, covert intelligence infiltration of groups that present the truth about Vedic culture, economic manipulation of their organizations, and intimidation of their leaders and members. Do you think that this 3,000-year-long program of government propaganda and disinformation might have influenced the quantity and especially the quality of information available in the West about the Vedic culture and its teachings? Due to government disinformation, it is very difficult to obtain truthful and unbiased information about any aspect of the Vedic culture. Materialistic governments are always afraid of authentic spiritual knowledge. They are afraid of the penetrating mystic power of the enlightened soul. They do everything in their power to keep people asleep in material consciousness, because sleeping people are easier to manipulate and control. Religious intolerance and violence can be hidden by an illusion of fine words, dazzling entertainment, and pervasive media promising a free society of material sense enjoyment, unlimited bread and circuses for the sleeping masses. Literal-minded materialists see esoteric knowledge as dangerous. The absolute truth is the ultimate threat to those who maintain a precarious hold on their wealth and power by lying as a lifestyle. Well, of course, it's no big secret that governments lie. And the first big lie is that this piece of land belongs to us and we have absolute power over everyone and everything within these boundaries. That's the big lie. Really, there is no such thing as a nation. If you go up in a plane or even better in a spacecraft and look back at the Earth, you don't see any borders between the nations. It's not a natural thing. They weren't created by God. The natural state is that we have one nation, one human nation all over the world. To divide the world up arbitrarily into smaller pieces and then fight over who's going to be in charge of them is foolish, a waste of time, waste of energy. So the first secret that governments keep is that they themselves are lies. And then they go on to create so many more lies and convince people that they're the truth simply by repeating them over and over and punishing people who don't believe in them. And that's how governments work. Now, imagine the attitude of a government towards a system of knowledge based on the absolute truth. The absolute truth rips aside all curtains of illusion, and it looks at the naked reality underneath. It talks about the real nature of the soul, the real nature of human existence. It talks about how to become free from the illusions of material life. Now here, the government, their whole business depends on a lie. So they're going to be very much afraid of this absolute truth business. They're going to try to stop it at all costs. So, in one sense, Marx was right that religion is the opiate of the people. At least religion in modern Western society is the opiate of the people because governments want it that way. They don't want a religion that wakes people up. They want a religion that puts people to sleep, that keeps them from questioning the lies that pervade the entire society, language, and culture. But if we really want to wake up, if we really want to know who we are, if we really want to see the truth, we have to confront these lies. Maybe not publicly, maybe not by demonstrating and agitating and making more political nonsense, what to speak of political violence? That's also a waste of time. But by sitting and thinking about the absolute truth, by reading the original Vedic scriptures that give the complete absolute truth, and by meditating, chanting the name of God, and becoming free from material conditioning. Now, that's dangerous. Why? Because a person who realizes that they are a spirit soul, separate from this material body and distinct from this material world, is simply not going to participate in the culture of lies. In other words, if I can see that I am not this body, I am not the designations attached to this body either. I'm not a Republican, I'm not a Democrat, I'm not a consumer, etc. and so forth. I'm not a worker, I'm not this, I'm not that. Okay, I'm something completely different, something that transcends the whole game. All of a sudden, I can't be pushed around by people who want to manipulate me using those labels. Well, if you're a Republican, you're going to vote for so-and-so. Or, well, if you're a Democrat, then you stand for this and that. Wait a minute. I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. I'm a follower of a completely different system. I don't believe in any of that. I don't accept any of that. Okay, I may have to deal with it for convenience. For example, if I'm traveling and someone wants to see my passport, then they may say, "Are you an American?" I have to say yes. But actually, I don't think of myself as an American or as a citizen of any country, because according to the esoteric teaching, all these countries are simply abstractions. They're conventions. They're lies that people tell and make other people, coerce other people into agreeing with. Why? Because they want to stay in power. So over the next few days, we're going to be going through the actual history of the Vedic culture, what really happened according to the history books of the Vedas. And you'll find this is quite different from the Western version of the last 5,000 years. Surprise, surprise. Because, as you know, governments who win wars tend to rewrite history. And so the Western governments, as they broke away from the Vedic worldwide empire, they tended to rewrite history to make themselves the center of civilization and the inventors of all the good ideas. So that's how governments operate. They say, first of all, they have a revolution, kill a bunch of people, usually the more intelligent people. And then when everybody left is cowering before them, they say, oh, okay, now, we are the ones who invented civilization. We're the ones who came up with all these good ideas. We're the most advanced nation that has ever existed on the planet. How many times has this lie been repeated? So we can understand that these different lies serve a material purpose for dealing with people who are asleep. But the people who want to find their perfect body need to wake up and confront the supreme absolute truth. We hope you've enjoyed this edition of My Perfect Body. This is David Hughes, your host, reminding you to visit us on the web at esotericteaching.org, where you can purchase the complete Esoteric Teaching Introductory Seminar DVD and many CDs of transcendental music and mantras.